The film opens on the moors, a vast, luminous magical kingdom that exists alongside the human world but apart from it. It is alive in a way the human kingdom is not. Strange and beautiful creatures wander freely through it. And at the center of all of it is Maleficent, a young fairy girl with wide brown eyes and enormous feathered wings, the most powerful creature in the moors and the one most devoted to protecting it. One day the three small pixies, Knotgrass, Flittle, and Thistlewit, bring her news. A thief has been caught at the border. A human boy. Maleficent goes to investigate and finds a small, scruffy boy named Stefan. He has picked up a glittering stone from the river and pocketed it, not out of greed, he explains, but out of wonder. He gives it back without being asked. She looks at him for a long moment. Then she lets him go. He comes back. And she lets him come back again. Over the years, Stefan and Maleficent build a friendship that neither of them finds anywhere else, she the guardian of a magical world, he an orphan who belongs nowhere and finds in the moors something that feels like home. On her 16th birthday, he gives her what he calls a true love's kiss. It is the happiest either of them has ever been. But Stefan is ambitious. The human kingdom is ruled by a greedy, war-hungry king named Henry, who has always coveted the moors and its magic. As Stefan grows older, the pull of the human court grows stronger than the pull of the moors. He visits less. And gradually, quietly, he disappears from Maleficent's life entirely, choosing power over everything they were to each other. She turns back to the moors and makes herself its protector in full, standing between it and the human world with everything she has. Then King Henry launches an attack. He sends an army across the border into the moors. It is a vast, heavily armed force, and it is met by something it did not expect. The creatures of the moors rise to defend their home, and at their head is Maleficent, flying above the battlefield, wielding magic like a force of nature, turning the tide of the entire battle almost on her own. King Henry is badly wounded in the fight. His army retreats. The Moors survive. But King Henry does not. He dies from his wounds. And on his deathbed, consumed by shame and fury, he makes a promise: whoever can defeat Maleficent and bring proof to the castle will be named his successor and inherit the throne. Stefan hears this. And Stefan makes his choice. He goes back to the moors. He finds Maleficent in the forest at dusk, and she is glad to see him. Whatever pain his absence caused her, she lets it go. She welcomes him. They talk by a fire the way they used to, and Maleficent falls asleep beside him as the night deepens. She trusts him completely. Stefan reaches into his coat and takes out a small vial. He pours it into the water she has been drinking from. It works quickly, a deep, heavy sleep that she cannot fight. He stands over her. He takes out a knife. He means to kill her, to bring her head to the king. But he cannot do it. He cannot kill her. So he does something else instead. When Maleficent opens her eyes in the cold gray morning, Stefan is gone. And she reaches back, instinctively, immediately, because something is wrong. Something is missing. Something that has been part of her since she was born. She reaches back with both hands and finds nothing but air and raw, bleeding stumps where her wings used to be. He drugged her. And while she slept, he cut them off. The scream that comes out of her is not a sound of anger. Not yet. It is pure anguish, the sound of something fundamental being taken. Her wings were not just how she flew. And Stefan took them while she trusted him, while she slept, to hand them to a dying king and trade them for a crown. She drags herself upright. She finds a branch and uses it to walk. She is diminished in a way that has nothing to do with magic. She goes back to the moors, and the moors feel different now. Everything feels different. She is different. Maleficent does not grieve quietly. She gathers herself, builds a staff from a gnarled branch, learns to walk on the ground she used to fly above, and pulls the darkness around her like armor. She finds a raven caught in a trap on the border of the moors. She frees him. And then, because she needs something loyal and she needs something that can go where she cannot, she transforms him. His name is Betrayal. He can be a raven, a man, or whatever she needs him to be. He becomes her wings, her eyes in the human world, her closest companion. Stefan gets his crown. He marries the king's daughter, Layla. He becomes king. Through Betrayal she learns that Stefan has had a daughter. A baby girl. A christening is being held at the castle, all the kingdom is invited to celebrate the birth of Princess Aurora. Maleficent is not invited. But she comes anyway. She arrives at the castle in a storm of black feathers and cold fury, moving through the great hall as the guests fall back on either side. Stefan sits on his throne with his queen. He watches Maleficent come toward him with the face of a man who has been expecting this and dreading it all at once. She takes her time. She greets the court. She compliments the baby. And then she leans over the cradle and delivers her gift. Before the sun sets on Aurora's 16th birthday, she will prick her finger on the spindle of a spinning wheel, and she will fall into a sleep like death. A sleep from which she will never wake. Stefan begs. He gets down on his knees in front of his entire court and begs. Maleficent watches him with the patience of someone who has waited a long time for this moment. And then, as though it is an afterthought, she adds a condition. The curse can be broken. By true love's kiss. She says it the way she means it, as a joke. A cruelty. Because she and Stefan both know there is no such thing. He took that from her too. She turns and walks out of the hall. He destroys every spinning wheel in the kingdom and locks them in the deepest dungeon. He sends Aurora away to live in a cottage in the woods with the 3 pixies, Knotgrass, Flittle, and Thistlewit, under false names, hidden from the world until the day after her 16th birthday when the curse can no longer touch her. And then he goes to war with the Moors, sending armies and iron weapons. Maleficent walls the Moors with thorns. She becomes its dark queen. The 3 pixies are catastrophically bad at childcare. They squabble constantly, they use magic when they shouldn't, and they have very little idea what a human baby actually needs. Aurora survives her early years largely in spite of them. Maleficent watches from the trees. At first she is watching the way a hawk watches, waiting, calculating, still thinking of Aurora as a piece on a board. But then Aurora laughs at something in the forest. And something shifts, something Maleficent did not plan for and cannot quite explain. She begins looking after Aurora without admitting that is what she is doing. She guides things, quietly, invisibly, so that Aurora keeps being safe and keeps being happy. When Aurora is old enough to walk into the moors she does, fearlessly, because she has somehow always known that the dark fairy at the border is not something to be afraid of. She calls her fairy godmother and means it completely. Maleficent does not correct her. She tries to, once. The word won't come out right. Aurora becomes a teenager who moves through the moors as though she was born to them, helping injured creatures, befriending the tree giants, swimming in the pools with the water sprites. She brings light back into places that have been dark for a very long time. Maleficent watches her and knows, with a certainty she did not expect and cannot dismiss, that she loves this girl. This child she cursed. This daughter of the men who destroyed her. She tries to undo the curse. She stands over Aurora while the girl sleeps and puts every piece of her power into lifting it. Nothing happens. She built it too well, out of too much pain. The only thing that can break it is true love's kiss, and she built that in as a mockery, as a lock with no key, because she did not believe such a thing existed. She believes it now. But she cannot undo what she has done. On the day before Aurora's 16th birthday, Aurora tells Maleficent she wants to live in the moors forever. She has never felt at home in the cottage with the pixies. The moors are where she belongs. Maleficent, for a moment, lets herself hope that if Aurora stays in the moors she will never find a spinning wheel and the curse will simply never activate. But on her way back to the cottage Aurora meets a young man on a horse, a prince named Philip, passing through the woods on a journey. They speak briefly. There is something between them, an instant ease, a warmth. Aurora goes home with his face in her mind. And then the pixies, arguing over who forgot to tell her what, finally let slip the truth. Aurora's real name. Her real parents. The curse. The fairy who cursed her. Aurora looks at their faces and pieces it together. The fairy godmother she has loved her whole life is the one who condemned her before she was old enough to take a single step. Heartbroken, she runs. She goes not to the moors but to the castle, to the father she has never met. Stefan receives her with stiff, uncomfortable formality, the love in him buried under years of paranoia and obsession. That night, something in Aurora wakes. Something that has been waiting since birth, pulled by the curse like a tide. The locked dungeon where Stefan hid every spinning wheel in the kingdom, its door opens for her as if it was never locked at all. She descends. She finds the wheels in the dark. And she finds the one spindle that was overlooked, hidden in the shadows. She reaches out. And she pricks her finger. Aurora crumples to the floor of the dungeon. The curse takes her instantly, not death, but a sleep so deep and still it looks like death. Maleficent knows. She felt it, the moment the curse completed. She comes to the castle with Betrayal. She moves through it quietly, finding Aurora in her chamber. She remembers the boy Aurora met in the woods. Philip. True love's kiss, the clause she put in the curse as a joke, a clause she was certain would never work. Betrayal finds Philip and brings him to the castle. He looks at Aurora for a long moment, this girl he met once on a forest road and spoke to for 10 minutes. He leans down and kisses her. Nothing happens. Maleficent stands there in the silence and accepts what she already knew. A kiss from a boy who barely knows her is not true love. She built the curse out of the wreckage of the only love she ever trusted, and she built it too strong and too honest for a convenient shortcut to undo it. She moves to Aurora's bedside. She looks at her for a long time. Then she leans down and presses her lips to Aurora's forehead, a goodbye, a plea, a promise. She tells her she is sorry. She tells her she loves her. And Aurora opens her eyes. She looks up at Maleficent, and she smiles. The truest love in the film was never romantic. It was this. A mother who cursed a child out of pain, and then watched over her every day for 16 years, and loved her in spite of every reason not to, and because of it. Aurora is awake. But they are still inside Stefan's castle. And Stefan's men are already coming. Then Stefan's iron net drops from above, pinning Maleficent to the ground. Iron burns her. She cannot transform out of it. She cannot fight through it. She is caught. Aurora runs. She remembers what Maleficent told her, that her wings were stolen and locked away inside the castle. She finds the glass case. She breaks it open. And the wings, Maleficent's wings, they find her. They reattach. She rises into the air for the first time in 16 years, and the feeling of it, the film holds on her face for a moment, is everything. Stefan's remaining soldiers scatter. Maleficent and Dyaval and Aurora fight clear. And then Stefan himself appears, hollowed out, obsessive, refusing to let it end. But Maleficent has her wings. She rises. She lifts Stefan high above the castle tower, and then she stops. She looks at him. She could kill him. She has wanted to kill him for a very long time. And she lets him go. She tells him it is over. Their feud is done. Stefan cannot accept it. He lunges at her from behind, throwing them both off the edge of the tower. Maleficent catches herself with her wings and pulls free of his grip. Stefan falls. The long way down. He hits the base of the castle tower and does not get up. In the aftermath, and then she undoes everything. The dark magic she wove through the moors, the thorns, the shadows, the cold she brought with her grief, she lifts all of it. The moors return to what they were. Green and glowing and alive, the way they were when she was young and the world still made sense. Aurora is crowned Queen of the Moors, a bridge between the two kingdoms, the human world and the magical one, finally at peace. And Maleficent stands beside her, no longer a dark queen, no longer defined by what was done to her. The wings are back. The moors are bright. And Maleficent, for the first time in 16 years, is free.